All right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Ju, and I'm here with Master Ju.
Hello there, Mr. Ju.
Hello. All right, on today's topic, we're going to be talking a little bit about competition.
Again?
Yeah, and going back to competition. And
good thing we're doing that because we can't demonstrate on the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, go.
All right, so, it depends on what tournament you're attending. What does your organization do? But the question is, and this is purely just your opinion. There's no right or wrong. Well, there could be a wrong. But let's say you have two patterns, and you get a designated one, and you get an optional. Now, I think some organizations actually do two designated.
Right, you don't have enough choice.
Yeah, okay, but we're going with you get one designated, you get one that you choose, right?
Now, in some tournaments, they do two designated. One of the designated is a color belt pattern.
I don't know.
Or is it just one of the... So in the tournaments that we've been doing with our organization with President Che is, a designated and optional, but it's only within the last four patterns of that rank. Unlike the old days, where you had to know all of the patterns.
Yeah.
I kind of miss those.
I do miss those too.
Because, you have to know.
Yeah.
All of them, and then you have to be really proficient at it.
Yeah, that's true.
So
makes it more difficult.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You fail to do Chunji and you lose. Oh.
Yeah. All right, so today we're just gonna talk about you got two designated and you got designated, you get an optional.
Right.
And let's say the designated, I'm a first on, is Quebec.
Okay.
Most people might choose Quebec as their regular optional, right? Or second on. Kodong Juche is the designated. Most people would probably choose Kodong Juche, if you're good at it, for your optional. So what do you think? Do you go back to back on those patterns? Oh, I do Quebec, I do Quebec again. I do Mumu again. I do Juche again. Or do I switch it up? Do I go Quebec, Kwange?
That's a good question.
Juche, Kodong, Zhengzheng.
That's a good question.
And why don't we divide it based on difficulty of patterns? I think second dan, fourth dan, there's definitely two that are way harder. First dan and third dan, they're kind of equal in the sense of the pattern sense. Right?
There's certain patterns that just stand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think the third dan is
It's like Yusin. Most people choose Yusin.
Do they?
Or Choyang. It can go either way, but I wouldn't say one is much stronger than the other.
Right.
So we'll kind of clump them over there, right, with the first dan, right? So first and third dan is one group. Second and fourth dan is another group. Fifth dan, and sixth dan. Yeah. Choose which.
Gone too old.
Yeah. Oh, you're tired, choose Sosan. You got some energy? Oh, no. You're tired, do Sejong, right? And then you're tired and you got energy, then do Sosan.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so what do? Let's start with the first and third dans.
So for us, I kind of think that Quebec is the pattern that you should really master, be really good at it.
But I also find Quebec's not too difficult.
No, that's true. I mean, if I had a choice, Pawan would be not.
Pawan, it's a great option.
Yeah, but that's not the pattern I would.
No way.
That's actually, I think, is a very difficult pattern in a way if you want to perform it correctly. It's about that tempo. It's kind of, but it doesn't. It's not super exciting either. But that's definitely a pattern I wouldn't use as my optional.
No.
Right, and Gwange also.
It's kind of difficult.
It is difficult because you got all these slow motion kind of things going on. Again, not super dynamic for me anyway, as a presentation. So I kind of think, okay, let's nail Quebec because I kind of think people do that one as their designated.
No, they're optional, right?
They're optional, so right. But your question is okay, so you have this.
They drew Quebec.
Would you go ahead and do Quebec again? I've done a lot of umpiring, and I kind of wish that people wouldn't do the same ones.
Okay.
Because I already saw it.
Right.
And you got two people doing the same pattern again. And you're like, well, you kind of already decided which one you wanted to win anyway.
Well, it depends on how the point system works, right? I mean, if they get points per pattern,
Right.
you got to judge them independently, right?
Right. And so does gay bag trump the other ones? I'm not sure if it does. But for me, I think if I saw something a little bit different and I go, that was a strong po one, I'm going to vote for that.
Yeah.
I mean, just assuming that gay back and you both are doing really well. And when you finish the round, you get to go to the coach, and the coach what is the coach going to say? More power. What, stay focused, good balance, okay. Or maybe the coach should say, I was watching that and both of your gay backs were pretty awesome. You've got to be different. You've got to be something better. Let's say I was coaching you. I'd say, Mr. Ju, I think you should go with Po-Wan. Blow him out of the waters there. He might be doing gay back, but they've already seen your gay back, and they know how good that gay back. But if your Po-Wan is really good, it might actually seal the deal. So as an umpire, I kind of like to see something a little bit different,
So you'd go with Poan, if gay back was trod.
I think Po-Wan is hard. Yeah, no, I go with Po-Wan. I mean, you have to be really good at that pattern. That's why I think a lot of people aren't really, in my opinion, really that good at it. For me, I think it's just it's a harder pattern to really, really be good at it. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go to third dan. Okay.
Third dan?
Yeah, there's not exactly the pattern to do. I would say, I think most people would choose Yu-Sin. Let's say they use Yu-Sin. They drew Yu-Sin. What are you going to do? You're going to do Yu-Sin again? You're going to do Choi-Young. Now, Choi-Young is definitely harder than Yu-Sin, but Yu-Sin is definitely longer.
Yeah,
and
no, that's
stronger
true.
of a pattern, I say, like stance-wise.
You think so?
No, just like the feeling-wise. You
think so? Yu-Sin is the one that you think is your optional?
Well, it depends if you can balance or not. You're definitely not doing sawmill. That's a for sure. You're definitely not doing sawmill.
Definitely not that one?
Yeah. So,
yeah, okay. I would agree with that. I don't think that would be my optional. I'm not sure if Yu-Sin would be my optional, though. I think maybe Choi-Young would be.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's been a while. But it's kind of interesting because when I competed back then, even as a higher rank, I always wanted to do Juche Kodang.
Okay, we're going to get there, okay? All right, so let's look at the two harder ranks. Second dan, fourth dan, you have Juche Kodang and Mumu. Those patterns are drew. Do I go back to back on them again? Because commonly, Zhengzhang is, again, not a bad pattern.
No.
But, it's done by those that can't really do Juche Kodang. And Oji is also not a bad pattern. Yongge not a bad pattern. It's strong.
Oji. Okay. Yeah, no, it's a difficult pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of variety, I think.
It does.
So I think that's why people do end up choosing that one. So, what would you say? Those two hard ones were drew.
Right. My thoughts are, again, you've got two patterns to do. And if, let's say, Juche Kodang was pulled up as your designated, and the question is, would you do it again?
Because it's so much harder.
It's so much harder.
It's so much harder than the other one.
It is definitely so much harder. And that's why I always can say, look, if you can really make that pattern awesome, it trumps them all. That's it. It just has a higher point value in a way. And so as a coach, if I was watching it, I'm going, your Kodang Juche is awesome. That guy was not too good. His optional pattern is not going to be that pattern. It's going to be something else. It's going to be Zhengzhang.
Yeah.
That's what usually happens. Zhengzhang. I would say, go again. Do it. Nail it. Make it more impressive. And I think that will seal the deal. I kind of think it depends on really what's strong for you. But for me, that's the one I would definitely work on and really make that really, really good. Most people won't pick that one.
This is just too hard.
It is too hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in the sense of like variety, seeing something new. It's fresh, And if you did a great job on the first one.
Yeah, but I think that pattern is just more exciting anyway.
Yeah, that's
and
true
I'd like
too.
to see it again.
Yeah. How about fourth dan?
Moo.
You do moo again.
Yeah.
You do it back to back.
Right. I think so. So I've seen this happen, right? Moo was called for the designated, and then they do moo again as their optional because that is the pattern.
Yeah.
I think as a coach, again, you're looking at it and you go, well, they both did it very well. And so you take a chance, I think, and you go and you do it again, and you hope that, because it's a difficult pattern, if you bobble something, right?
Yeah.
That's control, you didn't bobbled and whatever.
Yeah.
Then there you go, you won.
All right. So now my other question, and this might be only dependent on our organization because of the way that the tournaments are set up. So you have two patterns.
Maybe they don't let the optional be the same pattern.
Yeah, maybe, right? So these are very just what if kind of questions, right?
Maybe
so
they should do that.
New...
Go back to let's do all the patterns.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think that'd be good. But here's the scenario. Okay.
Chanji.
So they call, let's say you're third dan. This is mostly like if you're third or fifth dan, right? And they call you sin, but they also allow you to do any pattern that's your rank with one below.
Okay.
They call you sin. Can I do juche? Or would you feel like kind of weird about that? So for fifth dan, it's the same thing.
If the rules allow
they
it.
call it sosan, but I want to do moo, but I'm a fifth dan. Is that not weird? Because right now, like in our organization, you do the last of the rank before, and then your
The
three
last pattern is it, right.
So they could potentially call you sin, and you could do kodang technically, but that is a second dan pattern. Something wrong with that or not? To do that?
I don't think so, but that's just me because I still like the idea that you should know all the patterns.
Yeah, me too.
And that brings to the point where I think I was, the last time I competed before I blew out my ACL, what year was that? 1995. What rank was I? Fifth or sixth?
Sixth dan?
Sixth dan? No. Alzheimer's.
Well, you tested for seventh dan in like 2007 or something.
Was it? Yeah, I don't remember either. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Okay, well.
Anyway, so I was at a tournament and I wanted to do juche. We didn't call it kodang back then. I know it definitely was not a second degree, and it might have been a fifth degree. I don't know. Why? Because I like that pattern and I practiced that pattern and I felt pretty good with that pattern. And so I did that, and the competitor tried to do that pattern, forgot that pattern. So
Okay.
they made us start over, and he picked
Yeah.
a different pattern.
Yeah.
And I still came out victorious.
All right, nice. All right, good. Well, let us know your guys' thoughts on these draws here. And again, there's no right or wrong, and it just depends on what tournament you're at.
That's right.
So
Just have fun.
Just have fun with
That's
it,
right.
okay? All right. Well, anyways, don't forget to be safe
Keep training.
and have a great day.
Taekwondo.